Yo, what's up guys, my name's Hakiii and these are the safest vehicles you can use in free mode in GTA Online, meaning more fun and less stressing about Oppressor Mark IIs, jets, and just griefers that woke up on the wrong side of the bed. The first one we're going to be looking at is a bit of a different one that you probably didn't have in mind. I thought about this logically, and I mean logically, the underground train is one of the safest vehicles in the game, which naturally runs in the deep underground, which is a very safe place. The only dangerous scenario that can really happen underground, which is also very unlikely, is an Oppressor Mark II coming down there and trying to shoot you with missiles. It's highly unlikely since barely anybody goes underground. Like, you're not going to see anyone going underground in GTA Online, maybe like one person every like 20-30 sessions. And if you happen to have a bounty on your head and someone really wants to get you and chooses to take an Oppressor Mark II underground into the subway stations and maybe even further deep down in the tunnels, it's not too difficult to just get one of your ARs and take him down fast. On an Oppressor Mark II, you're very limited to what you can do underground since there really isn't much space. So even in a rare scenario of a griefer coming down into the underground after you, as long as you're somewhat aware, you should be all good to go. And regardless, pretty much no one is gonna come down, and this is actually a really good method for AFK money making. As long as you're standing in the train, you are still technically moving since the train doesn't stop for anything. It's pretty much like the overground train. You cannot stop it whatsoever, no matter how many times you try to blow it up or anything. And so it can actually be a pretty decent money method if you just want to go on the train and then you're constantly in that session passively generating money through the nightclub or the arcade or the agency. The only thing, since the train just looks kind of depressing, I wish there were actual NPC passengers inside of the trains. That would make it way more realistic, and I really hope we see that in GTA 6's subway. Then going back on land, we have a special type of weaponized vehicle that's one of the safest you can use in GTA Online. That is the Toror. There's a few big highlights about it, one of them being the missile tracking. It's got one of the most accurate missiles in the game, way more accurate than the Oppressor Mark IIs, which happen to be one of the worst tracking missiles in the game. So the Toror is one of the best counter vehicles to the Oppressor Mark II because of how good the missiles are, and it could take a few missiles before it fully blows up, so it's got some decent armor as well. Now, the last vehicle we talked about is underground. This is also technically underground, not exactly, but it's underwater. Driving right into the sea and holding right on the D-pad, your car just goes into submarine mode, and then you can actually just drive underwater. And the rocket boost the Toror has on the back of it actually works underwater as well, so it's much faster than other so-called submarines. On top of that, you can even use the missiles it has underwater as well. So if you're up against another underwater vehicle or just any type of boat, you can actually blow them up. And not many sea vehicles have missiles equipped on it, so it's also very rare. A lot of rare perks you get with this vehicle, and the rocket boost on the back of it is also the fastest recharging boost in the entire game out of all boosted vehicles. Within barely a second, you already have your rocket boost recharged after using it. And overall, the fact you can go underwater with it makes it a very safe vehicle, because if someone's chasing you, this is an easy escape, because only a select few vehicles can actually be driven or just taken underwater in general. So chances are no one's going to be able to fully chase you when you go under the water. You're safe from jets, from Oppressor Mark IIs, and any land and air vehicle is not going to be able to chase you down there. It's like you pretty much have a giant safe house in GTA 5. Any big body of water, that is your safe space where no one's going to be able to do anything to you. Next up is the Ocelot Virtue, which is going to be a part of the Amani Tech family, so it doesn't necessarily have to be strictly the Virtue, but I also recommend the Omnis EGT. The Terminus is also a very good Amani Tech upgradable vehicle. Reason is, going inside of the agency vehicle workshop, you have the Amani Tech options, which the regular Los Santos Customs doesn't. And in there, you have a really useful upgrade called the Missile Lock-On Jammer, which makes it where no weaponized vehicle is going to be able to lock onto you with homing missiles. And some Amani Tech vehicles also have the extra armor plating upgrade, which makes it explosive resistant. So then not only can the weaponized vehicles not even lock onto you, but it takes a couple of missiles to fully blow up the vehicle, which is a very difficult task for a griefer. I made a whole video about the best Amani Tech upgradable vehicles, so feel free to check that out at the end of this video. The reason I like the Virtue so much specifically is because you can actually get it for free instead of paying over $2 million for it. It's an awesome electric supercar that you get as a reward at the end of the last dose mission, so just complete the first dose and then the last dose missions and you get it at the very end with a special rare livery too. Extremely worth it for a great performing supercar. It's got some crazy fast acceleration. That's probably the highlight of the performance performance with it, and then it's got some decent customization options as well, like a lot of different cool looking spoilers and some liveries. Next one is an extremely armored air vehicle we're going to take a look at here, and I believe you need a facility for it first, and then you can actually buy the Avenger itself. Weapons wise, it's got the carpet bombing, so basically you hold right D-pad to open the bay doors on the bottom of the plane, and then you hold ARX on PlayStation to ongoingly drop little nukes, you can say, on the ground. And I didn't even know about this up until recently, but if you press B or circle on PlayStation, you can actually get a view of directly what's under you, so you can basically aim better when doing the carpet bombing. There's some very interesting upgrades when customizing the Avenger. You have so many different useful upgrades. For example, in the autopilot defenses, one of the options is the stealth module, which lets you have stealth mode with this plane. So basically you just press a button and then you're completely off the radar for as long as you want. That's one very useful one. The other one we're more familiar with because we have it on Amani tech cars. That's the missile lock-on jammer, once again, so no weaponized vehicles will be able to lock onto you. Honestly, it's a really hard decision because both those options are extremely useful. Let me know which one you prefer down below in the comments. And there's also some upgrades for turrets and machine guns on the back and the front of the plane. And exactly like with the Hydra and the Raiju, there's also hover mode in this thing, so you can switch between hover mode and plane mode, so you can go either vertically or horizontally, whichever direction you want to fly in primarily. And as you're seeing in the gameplay, the Avenger is getting hit with a lot of different missiles, but it's not really destroying the plane. It's withstanding a lot, but after a couple rockets, I found the propellers actually stop working. But it's kind of funny because they can stop working, but you can still fly pretty much fine with one propeller, and if they both stop working, then you can keep on gliding for a while depending how high you are in the air. It does look pretty odd with the propellers not moving whatsoever, but you can still move in the air fine. It's going to be a little slower, but I mean, this plane's so armored that even if you crash into something, you're likely to survive. Next up is going to be another special type of vehicle. It's a very big one, the Mobile Operations Center. I really like the customization you can do to the back of that MOC. You can put a personal vehicle storage in there, vehicle workshop, even a weapon workshop for Mark II weapons, and all that type of stuff. I believe they call it the command center, and so customizing the different bays you have inside of the command center is super useful. To buy one of these, you actually need to be owning a bunker first. We talked a bit about what you can get in the inside of the command center, but on the outside, this thing is extremely armored. It takes some ridiculous number of missiles, like I believe it's like 50 missiles or 50 rockets, something like that, to fully blow it up, which would take forever for someone to actually chase you down for that long, assuming the person actually has enough missiles in their vehicle to blow you up. Then a somewhat similar vehicle to the MOC is also the Brickade 6x6 that you actually get inside of the Freak Shop, so it's through the first dose missions. You don't need any money to start it up. After unlocking the Freak Shop property, you can buy the Brickade for about $750,000, which is not that bad, honestly. It has a running business in the back of the vehicle, the Acid Lab, so it's both a vehicle and a business at the same time, which is pretty cool. And this one also takes a ridiculous number of rockets or missiles to fully blow it up. I believe close to 50, which is so much. You need so much time to fire 50 missiles, or if someone's on foot, it would take so long to fire 50 RPG rockets. Like, the guy would literally need to go and buy more ammo because the RPG can only take up to 20 rockets in it. So it's safe to say this thing is extremely armored, and it's also a very heavy vehicle, meaning it's got some crazy ramming power. I like to just go on the highway against traffic and just ram so many street cars out the way, including big trucks as well. If you enjoyed, help the video out by dropping a like on it, and subscribe if you are new to the channel so you don't miss any more awesome videos like these. And as we mentioned earlier, click the video on screen now for the best Amani tech cars in GTA Online. I hope you all enjoy that video, and peace.